this for me is just fantastic. It's like, you know, the BBC needed to be taken down a few pegs, and of course it would be the president who would be the one to stand out and do it. So we're very happy once again. We're grateful to the president who is stepping in to save England from itself, because, you know, England is falling apart before our eyes. But, you know, it's a crazy story, really, because, you know, you sort of said that they took his speech out of context. I would actually argue against that. I think they completely changed the speech. You know, they put his words and they basically said, let's march and let's fight like hell. March to the capital and let's fight like hell, which is completely not what he told his people to do, as we all know. But, you know, this just played into the massive agenda that they all pushed at this time, that he led an insurrection, which of course we now know is totally false. So it's about time that the BBC were held to account, I think.
Yeah, kudos to this whistleblower. The whistleblower also said in this particular story that this has happened a lot, that he has actually had argues with editors and they've told him, we don't really care. We don't really care about the truth. We care about saying what we want to say and keeping our line. The great thing, though, Thomas, is that there are other, you know, I always talk about parallel economy on this program, and there are other competitors out there with the BBC now. GB News is one to mention. I love GB News. I watch it all the time when I'm in the UK, and I actually appear on their programs sometimes. Thomas, can they crack, though, this sort of stronghold that the BBC has on the UK in terms of really attracting audiences and shifting people over to some more rational thought that's not so indoctrinated?
Yeah, it's changing. I think one of the big problems is that it's so ingrained in people in the UK that, you know, and every television, it is channel number one is the BBC. And every night at 6 p.m. and at 10 p.m., people tune in to watch the news, the headlines. It's one of the biggest programs of the day. You know, my grandparents would watch it, my parents watch it. It is sort of ingrained in the British ideas that is what you do. So that is hard. It's different here. You know, usually in the US, it's more rolling news. You have it on throughout the day and things. There's not such an appointment viewing. So it's tough to break that. But I think one of the scariest things about this is that the BBC is really the gold standard around the world for journalism. And if they were willing to do it, imagine what, for example, CNN are doing, what you know, left-wing newspapers are doing. And this was the big one. They did it to the president. But what are they doing on everyday stories, you know, to make it fit their agenda? If the BBC are willing to do it, I think that's quite a scary moment for us to be in.
Well, and Thomas, the BBC is, I mean, it's clearly gone far left at this point. Or how would you term it, far left? I mean, and on Israel, for sure. I mean, what they've said about Israel and the genocide there, I mean, so I'm curious to kind of get your take as to what happened to the BBC. We always kind of knew they were left-leaning, but it's gotten even worse. Is that your take, or am I missing something?
No, you're exactly right. And I think it's part of it is with the young people today, particularly on the left, that is so, politics is everything to them. It's almost impossible to truly be impartial and be left-wing, because there's no sort of space for any dissent among them. You know, for example, in the BBC, I imagine if I went there for you know, a job interview, I mean, first of all, I would never get an interview because I'm a white man, and that is basically banned at the BBC. Wow. But if on the off chance I did get an interview there, and I said to them, you know, oh, I'd done an internship at GB News, I'd be kicked out of the door. But if I said to them, oh, I'd done an internship with Hamas, I think they'd love it, you know. So wow. I think it just shows you that is what has happened to the producers, the junior people there, and that just goes all the way up to the top. So it is a real problem in the UK, and I think a lot of it is because of this DEI. They really made a point that they were going to hire all of these Muslims, these immigrants, all these black people, instead of actually looking at what are the young people of England actually wanting to say and hear about. So it is completely left-wing, and you would struggle to find a right-wing voice in the BBC. And if there is one, they have to pretend that they're not right-wing, you know.